Welcome. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to graph a line given its x and y intercepts. So to begin, let's define exactly what an x and y intercept are. So an x-intercept is just any point on the x-axis that the graph crosses. So what I've done is I've drawn a sample grid that's in black. And again, remember, a graph goes on a grid. So on my grid, I've got an x-axis and a y-axis. The x-axis is the axis that runs horizontal. The y-axis is the axis that runs vertical. And so my graph, in this case, is in red. And so what you'll notice is that the graph crosses the x-axis actually in three places. So one place the graph crosses is right here. Another place is right here. And a third place is right here. Those are all points. Those are points that are going to have x-coordinates and y-coordinates. And because they're right on the axis, right on the x-axis, these are called x-intercepts. Okay? And for all of them, I actually know what the y-coordinate is. Because they're right on the axis, because they're right on the x-axis, we didn't have to go up at all. We're just going straight over from the origin. So that means I know that the y-coordinate for each of these points is 0. The only question is, what's the x-coordinate? Similarly, if we look at a y-intercept, it's just the reverse. So it's any point on the y-axis that the graph crosses. So I've, again, drawn a grid, and we've got our x-axis running horizontal, y-axis running vertical. And you can see I've drawn, again, a sample graph. And what I'm looking for is, where is the graph crossing the y-axis? Well, in this case, the graph crosses the y-axis right up here. So again, that's going to be a point. So because it's a point, it's going to have an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. But this time, I actually know one of the coordinates again. This time, what I know is that in order to get up to this point, I didn't have to go over at all. So that tells me my x-coordinate for sure is 0. The only question is how high I had to go. So I don't know what my y-coordinate is, but I know for sure my x-coordinate is 0. So let's see if we can use this information to actually sketch a graph by taking a look at number 1. So number 1 says, draw a line whose y-intercept is -2 and whose x-intercept is -3. Well, if the y-intercept is -2, we already know the x-coordinate is 0. So what that tells me is this point, the y-intercept, is going to have coordinates 0, -2. And if I graph that, 0, -2 on my grid is down here. It also tells me the x-intercept is -3. Well, again, for every x-intercept, I already know its y-coordinate is 0. So if we just write the coordinates out for this x-intercept, I know the y-coordinate's already 0. And the x-coordinate they're telling me is -3. So if I plot that point over -3 up 0 is going to be right there. And now they're just telling me to draw the line through those 2 points. So should look something like that. Alright, I want you to try number 2. Pause the video and then start it after you've given it a try. Okay, so for number 2, same thing. So the y-intercept is 3. So if I write the coordinates out, the y-intercept, we know the x-coordinate is automatically 0. So 0, 3 for that first point. And the x-intercept is 2. Well, for the x-intercept, we automatically know the y-coordinate is 0. So if the x-intercept is 2, we get the point 2, 0. So I get these 2 points, and I'm supposed to graph the line through them. And you should get something that looks like that.